One of the number one reasons why women struggle with dating and relationships today is that they choose men who are not ready for anything real. Ladies, there are lots of great relationship-ready men out here. However, you need to learn how to choose them. I wrote this book to teach you how to do just that. Get your copy of Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you on Amazon today.
This is exactly why reparenting self is very, very vital in life. Let's get into it, family. So right off the bat, most adults are just older children walking around with wounds that were never addressed, repeating the same patterns they were shown. If no one taught you how to regulate your emotions, love yourself, or feel safe, you must now teach you. Understand, family, that adults are just children in grown bodies. Society pressures us to be grown, but most people never emotionally evolved beyond the pain they felt as a kid. So with that being said, reparenting equals creating safety, love, and guidance you never got. You become the parent you needed, both for your current self and your inner child. So with that being said, you must reparent the current version of you and your inner child, family, because healing is layered. You need care now, and the child in you still needs love. On top of that, reparenting clears space for alignment. When the wounded child in you feels safe, your nervous system relaxes, and now you're open to new timelines, healthier relationships, and abundance. Understand, family, that without reparenting, you unconsciously repeat patterns. The unhealed child runs the show, and that child wants protection, not expansion. Real adulthood begins only when you become your own nurturer, not when you get a job and start paying bills and stuff like that. Healing is growing up emotionally. What would you tell your younger self right now? Drop it in the comments.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, so I am actually driving a U-Haul van. I'm driving a U-Haul van to University of Virginia to pick up my daughter. And I'm going to warn you all that the acoustics in here are horrible. So the acoustics are horrible. You're going to hear every bump, every sound, but I'm going to try not to make this video too long because of the acoustics in this van. So the van is empty right now and the acoustics are horrible. But I wanted to jump on this morning and do a quick lesson about reparenting. Good morning. Thank you, Pure_Soul, for buying a badge. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But I just wanted to jump on, do a quick teaching on reparenting because y'all know that I like to multitask. And since I have to drive this van to Charlottesville to get my daughter, I said, you know what? I'm going to take 20 minutes. I'm going to do a teaching on reparenting because many of us need it. I personally believe all of us need it. All of us need to reparent ourselves. All of us need to cancel the debt that we believe our parents owe us. If you never heard that one before, okay? A lot of you all believe that your parents owe you something. That they didn't do this, they didn't give you that, or they did something to you that caused you harm or hurt, or that caused you to not have the life that you wanted. Here's the other thing I'm going to say. A lot of you are horrible at grieving. Like, that is the one emotion, that is the one circumstance that I would say 90% of people really suck at. Like, you suck at grieving. You suck at coming to terms with, oh wow, this isn't the life I thought I was going to have. Or this isn't the relationship I thought I was going to have. Or this isn't the fill in the blank that I thought I was going to have. Like, I feel gypped. I feel like, I did not get the life I want. I did not get the parents I want. I do not have the money I want. I don't have the spouse I want. I don't have the kids I want. I don't have the house I want. I don't have the job I want. Fill in the blank. Okay? But you have to learn how to grieve those things. A lack of grieving is the number one reason why many people go from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. They do not know how to sit by themselves. They do not know how to be by themselves. And they do not know how to grieve the loss or the ending of something. And so they, distract themselves. They outsource it. You know what? I am going to outsource this. I am going to just reach for another person, and that other person is going to distract me from my pain. That other person is going to distract me from my sorrow, from my sadness, right? I won't ever feel sad. I won't ever feel pain. I won't ever feel rejection or whatever the feeling is that you're trying not to feel. But let me give you a pro tip. Number one, you can't do that forever. Those feelings are going to catch up with you. The loss is going to catch up with you. You're going to be put in situations and circumstances where you have to face it. You have to deal with it. And what's really sad is people who never deal with it kind of along the way. Like if you never deal with it along the way, all that residual pain, all that residual hurt is going to catch up with you. And it's going to feel like a sledgehammer. It's going to feel like a sledgehammer coming down on you. When all those wounds, all that pain, all that hurt. Do you know I have some clients where they're going through a divorce, their second divorce right now. And not only are we dealing with the second divorce, we're dealing with the first divorce, we're dealing with the first breakup, we're dealing with the childhood stuff. Like all of that stuff is being brought into the therapy session. And the person feels overwhelmed. They feel just completely like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I can handle this because it is so much pain. There is so much. And like every session, we jump around from the current pain to the past pain to the this to the, like, we're just jumping all around. I said, but we have to deal with it. We have to process all of these wounds, all of this hurt. We have to deal with this pain. You have to. So that is my PSA to you all. Please, I'm going to strongly suggest that when bad things happen, and they will because life isn't fair. Life is not fair. This is the lesson I'm still teaching my grown kids. Life is not fair. Something is going to happen that you did not bring upon yourself, that you did not want, that you do not like, that you do not deserve. Let's go there. Life is going to happen, okay? And this is why it's so important to control what you can control, because there are going to be things out of your control that are going to happen, and that's the part where I say, well, life isn't fair. Right? I don't have anything for you, really. Life is not fair. And there are people in the world who want to make sense of everything. They want to try to figure it out. I'm not one of those people. I trust God. I know that life isn't fair. I'm a grown-up. I recognize that there are things within my control, and I control them. And the things that are not, I roll with it. I play the heck out of the hand that I was dealt. That's the mindset I wish more people embraced instead of the victim mindset. Oh, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Why not you? Why not you? It had to happen to somebody. It just so happened your ticket got pulled. Yesterday, and here's the thing this is going to give you balance. There will be random good things that will happen to you. Right? Just yesterday, I found, not purchased, I found a lottery ticket. I found a scratch-off lottery ticket. And I scan lottery tickets into the app because they give you points. So for every lottery ticket you buy, or just every lottery ticket you scan, because I don't buy many lottery tickets, but people will give me their lottery tickets. I'll find lottery tickets and I'll scan them. And for every one you scan, they'll give you points, and then those points will add up to you playing online for free. So I technically don't spend a whole lot of money on lottery. I have free play every month. That's how I play it. I play it for free. So yesterday I find a lottery ticket in the grocery store, and I get home and I scratch the little barcode and I scan it, and I won $75. I won $75 from finding somebody's, and they had scratched it. That's what was so wild. They had scratched, all the spaces, and I don't know if they didn't look at it, they didn't read it properly, but they had scratched the ticket. They had scratched all the spaces and didn't realize that they won, and they just laid it down. They just set it down. So I picked it up because I wanted to scan it and put it in my app, and I won $75. I didn't see that coming. So there has to be balance in all things. That's the way God made the entire universe. Just like random bad things will happen, random good things will happen. Random good things will happen. You will win money. You will get a job you didn't expect. You will meet the love of your life. You will close on the house of your dreams. You will get an opportunity, right? The three times in my life that my content has gone viral, I didn't see that coming. This is what a lot of people don't realize. When I make content, it is not to go viral. That's not in my head at all. I am speaking my truth out into the world, and whatever happens, happens, right? Whoever watches, watches. If you go to my page, you'll see some reels where there will be 300 people that have looked at that reel. You will see some reels where 1 million people have looked at that reel. I have no way to know what is going to happen. So we have to allow balance into our life to understand, yes, life isn't fair, but we're going to be cut some breaks. We're going to win some money. We're going to meet some amazing people. We're going to have wonderful things happen to us as well that we didn't earn, that we didn't work for. I didn't work for that. I just picked it up, scanned it, bam, there you go. So let balance be in your life at every turn, so that you don't get into this victim mindset. Good things have happened to you. Good things have happened to all of us. And look, I think about the times where there were things that should have happened that didn't. There was times where, if I'm being transparent, when I was in my 20s and I would go to the club or go out and I would drink too much, and I kid y'all not, I would remember walking out the door with my friends, and then I will remember waking up the next day. And I have no idea how I got home. I have no idea how I got to my house safely. So, right there, I consider that, God's grace, God's blessing on me, because I have no recollection of how I got home. And some of y'all had that story too. It ain't just me. Some of y'all, that didn't happen to y'all too, okay? But back to the reparenting. Here's the truth of the matter. Most of us, myself included, we did not have the perfect parents. We didn't even have close to that. We had parents that were human and imperfect. We had parents that were stressed out. We had parents that worked too much. We had parents that couldn't manage their emotions. We had parents that couldn't regulate themselves. We had parents that were addicted. We had parents that had mental illness. We had parents that were incarcerated. We had parents that weren't even there at all. They couldn't even be bothered to show up. Okay? We had parents that were inconsistent. We had parents that didn't prioritize us. We had parents that didn't know how to feed us nutritious food. We had parents that didn't teach us to exercise. We had parents that got angry. We had parents with problems. We had, let me go here. You ready? Y'all not ready for this. We had parents that were not happy when they found out we was coming. We had parents that didn't want us like that. We were not playing. That's a lot of y'all. We had parents that we were not playing. They were not looking forward to us coming. All of those things. You must process all of that. You must process the wounds and the hurt and the harm from all of that. You must reparent yourself, because the chances are high, very high, that your parents didn't do a great job. They did the best they could, but they didn't do a great job. And so now you can't rely on their 18 years of parenting. It's not good enough. Like, can I be real? Their parenting is not good enough to take you to the rest of your life and you be happy and healthy and whole. You're now going to have to pick up the parenting baton. You're now going to have to learn all the things that they didn't teach you. You're now going to have to learn how to be in healthy relationships, learn how to communicate effectively, learn how to regulate your nervous system, learn how to love people in a healthy way. That's your job now. And that job starts when you're 18, because that's when their parenting job ends. It's on you to figure out, okay, what didn't I get? What do I need that I didn't get? Because their parenting, that 18 years of parenting, it's not going to take me to 85. It's not going to take me to the rest of my life and me be healthy. And let's be honest, y'all. Look around in the world. Look around in the world. Look at your friends. Look at your family. Right? Most people, their parents' parenting job ain't working. It's not working. It's not doing great. They're making a lot of mistakes. They are getting into crazy relationships. They don't have good vetting skills. They're not good with money. Their relationships with people outside of romantic relationships is horrible. They don't have good friendships. They're a trip at work. Like, whatever it is they came from, it's not working. That's most of us. That is why you must reparent. That's why you must work on yourself. We can't rely on the job that our parents did, because it wasn't great. Our parents taught us to stonewall. Our parents taught us to be critical. Our parents taught us to be defensive. Our parents taught us to not take accountability and not take responsibility. Our parents taught us not to apologize. Our parents taught us to shut down. All the bad habits you got, where do you think you got them from? Your family of origin. So you have to do the inner work. You have to work with a coach, work with a counselor. You have to read some books and apply what you read. You have to watch some videos and apply what you watch. You have to work on you. I don't know how many times I have to say this to people. And remember, when you become an adult, it's not so much about what happened to you as a child. It's about the choices that you make. That's what's doing people in. Forget the fact that your mama was strung out on drugs and your daddy was an alcoholic or he was incarcerated and your grandparents raised you. Forget that. What are you doing now? What kind of choices are you making now? That's the most frustrating part about being a therapist, is that I'm here to uncover and unlock and process with people, and then I just teach them. The bottom line is, what are you going to do now? You cannot keep making bad choices and get good results. And what do? They keep making the same bad choice over and over. Why aren't I getting better? Why don't I feel better? Why do I still have these problems? Because you keep making the same bad choices. At some point, your logic has to kick in. Your rational mind has to say, don't do that. And you will not believe how many people online, this is what I find so fascinating. People online, oh, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. It really is. It really is. That's a crock. Okay? Y'all really not gonna like this, but it really is. It really is that easy. Don't do that. Right? Just how you know as a grown person not to ingest poison, like, it really is. Okay? I'm sorry, but it really is. Don't do that. Do not respond to that person. Do not keep texting. Do not keep accepting their call. block them, get a new number, do what you have to do. But see, the reason why y'all keep saying it's not that easy, that's easier said than done, that's y'all's favorite line, that's easier said than done, because you don't want to go through the pain. You don't want to grieve the loss of the bad thing in your life. You don't want to grieve the loss of the bad person in your life that's bringing you down, that's making life hard. You don't want to grieve the loss of the drugs that you're using, or the alcohol that you're drinking, or the weed that you're smoking, or the cigarettes that you're like. You don't want to grieve the loss of all the bad food that you're ingesting. You don't want the pain. But look at where that has gotten you. The fact that you will not do hard things, look at where that's gotten you. People who don't do hard things have a hard life. Period. If you refuse to do hard things, you will have a hard life. Period. So again, I reach a lot of impasse with some of my clients because we've worked together for a year, and I let them know I don't work with people for years and years and years. I'm not that therapist. I'm a solution-focused brief therapist when I'm working with individuals, and to some extent, I'm that when I'm working with couples. I'm not going to work with a couple for 5 straight years. Like, this isn't effective. And 9 times out of 10, you know why it's not effective? Because they're not making different choices. They keep coming into therapy, checking that box, and doing the same thing. They leave the therapy office and they do the same thing. They get into the same fights. They call each other the same names. They do the same bad behavior. Well, why isn't it getting better? Why aren't we doing better? Because you're refusing to make different choices. It's that simple. Good morning. It really is that simple. So, reparenting is a must. And if I can be so frank, I think every person needs to do it before they get married. Like, you need to reparent yourself. And you need to ask the other person, have you done any reparenting? And they say, what does that mean? That means that you're now going to protect your inner child. You're now going to give your inner child what it needs. You're now going to meet your own needs. You're going to stop outsourcing what it is you think your parents owe you. You're going to stop holding them hostage and keeping them on the hook. Well, they didn't give me this and they didn't give me that, and I'm still waiting for this. And no. That's done. That's over. They don't owe you anything. It's going to be some tough love today. They don't owe you anything anymore. They got you to 18. They kept your little tail alive. So now it's your job. It's your job to figure out what you need and to give yourself what you need. Okay? And you can do that for yourself. You can find other good people that can also meet your needs. But you need to reparent yourself. You need to grieve the loss of the life you wished you had. You need to grieve the loss of the parents you wish you had. You need to grieve the loss of maybe your innocence being taken away or whatever. But grieve it, move past it, process it, and get over it. Because there's too many grown adults walking around with the mindset of a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old. That's the problem. Emotional immaturity. People are emotionally immature. And it's because they weren't raised properly the first time, and they refuse to reparent themselves. They refuse to learn how to reparent. That is one of the #1 things I do with people in individual counseling. I work on reparenting. And that is the journey that I walk people through, how to reparent themselves. And when our time is over, I tell them, guess what? Keep doing this work. Do not stop this work. This is work that you're going to keep doing long after you and I's therapy time is over. Protect yourself, love yourself, respect yourself. These are all a part of the reparenting process. But too many adult people, you all don't love yourselves. You don't respect yourself. You don't know your self-worth. You don't know your value. You don't even protect. You don't even protect yourself. Can I go here? Ladies, please help me to understand. Let me tell you how sick and twisted the mind really is. A woman will experience sexual abuse. She will experience sexual abuse at the hands of a grown adult man when she is a child, right? She will experience rape and sexual abuse at the hands of a grown adult male. And then when she gets older, guess what she'll do? She'll become a stripper. She'll become an escort. Or she'll just have random sex with men that she don't know. She will now abuse herself. That's how sick the mind is. It will take you down the same path as your abuse. But you're doing it to yourself. You will strip, be on OnlyFans, doing all these stupid challenges. How many men can I have sex with in a day? And sell your body and do all this foolishness, or just be out here sleeping around for free. You no longer protect your inner girl. You let the wolves destroy yourself. That's a sickness. I see it all the time, and it is a direct correlation to the sexual abuse that many women have experienced. They feel like they don't have the right to be a good gatekeeper anymore. They feel dirty. They feel used. They feel broken. So, oh well, I don't have any value. This man, touched me or raped me when I was a child, so I don't have any value. I don't have any worth. I might as well just give it away for free. That's how twisted and sick the mind is. It will take you down that same path if you're not careful. You must reparent yourself. I cannot say that enough. You have to reparent yourself, or you will be stuck in a sick cycle. You have to reparent yourself. Terrain Walker, good morning. I see a lot of 40-somethings still on the emotional level of high schoolers in the cafeteria. Amen. Amen. Still playing those little high school games. I know. I know a couple of those people too. And I just roll my eyes. I roll my eyes like, baby, I'm grown. I'm not playing these little high school games. These little middle school. There's some people doing middle school games. I'm not playing these middle school games with you. Go somewhere and grow up. Okay, so we have to reparent. That is the secret. Because most of our parents, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a Gen Xer, right? I was a latchkey kid. My mom's been married 3 times. My dad's on his 4th marriage. And I didn't get all the emotional attunement I needed. I was protected physically. I feel blessed. This is how I know my grandmother. I know my grandmother's prayers are protecting me, y'all. I know. I had a praying grandmother. Okay, you know how I know? Because in the midst of all of that, in the midst of us moving around and my mom remarrying, my dad remarrying, I have never been sexually abused. So that's how I know my grandmother was a praying grandmother. Because nope, that's the one thing my parents like, nope, they didn't play that, right? And I came from a good family in that there were no predators in my family. Like, there were no male predators in my family. There was no foolishness like that in my family. So that's how I know I had a praying grandmother. But I didn't get all of the emotional attunement I needed. I didn't get all of the attention I needed. I didn't get all of the care and just, someone holding space for my emotions. I didn't always feel seen. I didn't always feel heard. Like, let's keep it real, right? There was chaos. There was chaos in my childhood of the moving and the different, spouses and all kinds of stuff. I never knew what to expect. And so that's what led to the fearful avoidant attachment style. So wanting a close relationship, but pushing people away. That's what led to that. So when I grew up, I was like, what is wrong with me? A part of me wants to be in a close relationship, but a part of me pushes that away. A part of me fears that. So I had to do that attachment style work. I had to figure out what is going on. Like, I want to be close. I want this deep intimacy, but yet, it's scary. But it was fearful avoidance. So you find out your attachment style, you do your reparenting work, You learn how to regulate your emotions. You learn how to manage your triggers well. Like, these are all things that you have to do as an adult. You do not get to lean on the crutch of, well, my mama was this and my daddy was this. My mama wasn't around. My daddy wasn't around. No, you can't lean on that crutch forever. At some point, you have got to take radical responsibility of your life. Okay? Forget them. Forget mama. Forget daddy. You've got to take care of yourself, and especially your inner child. That's what I find so crazy. Y'all are willing to put your inner child in danger by smoking and drinking and using drugs and having sex with people you shouldn't be. You are destroying your inner child. So you have got to figure it out, and you need to go to someone that is familiar with reparenting. That's one of my specialties, is reparenting, and have that person be a secure attachment figure to you. One of the things that I am to my clients is I am a secure attachment figure, right? So I model the behavior that I want to see in them. I model that behavior. I make sure that I'm regulated. I make sure that I'm warm, I'm open, I'm non-judgmental. I make sure that I'm consistent, right? I am the secure attachment figure for a lot of clients who they've never seen a person be that type of role model. They've never seen that. They have never seen that. So, yes, find a secure attachment figure. It doesn't have to be a therapist. It can be a coach. It can be a friend. It could be your significant other. It could be, someone at church. I've had many secure attachment figures over the years, other than my parents. My parents have become more secure over the years, but when I was young, no, they were not secure attachment figures. They were not. They were so busy, kind of living their life and getting in these relationships and getting divorced and working and, doing all the things. And they provided for me physically. They provided for me in terms of, meeting my basic core needs, but they did not provide the secure attachment figure. They did not provide emotional attunement. That's what was missing. So, yes, find yourself a secure attachment figure and allow that person to help you to heal. And you heal. You heal yourself. You don't lean solely on them, but they are someone that can help you. Just like your significant other. Your significant other can help you to heal your attachment. That's how we heal attachment, is in relationships, in healthy relationships. Okay? So, but reparenting is necessary. I'm seeing so much chaos, so much hurt, so much, wounds and betrayal and all kinds of just craziness out here. And it's because people need to reparent themselves. They have got to do the inner work. Okay? But you've got to grieve. You've got to grieve the life you thought you should have. You have to grieve the parents you thought you should have. I have grieved my parents long ago. I recognize that, you know what? They are not Bill and Claire Huxtable, right? My dad is not Bill, Dr. Huxtable, and my mom is not Claire Huxtable, right? I grieved that long ago. I did not get the perfect parents. And now I have so much compassion for them. I have so much empathy for them because I see them as just a man and just a woman. That's it. They were just a man and just a woman. They had their own wounds and traumas and hurts. They had their own stuff going on. And they did the best they could. They did the best they could with what they had. They played the best they could with their hand. And that's what I'm doing. I told my kids the same thing. I am just a woman doing the best I can. I did the best I could by you. I protected you. I loved you. I provided for you physically and financially. And, I want you to have empathy for your parents. I want you to have compassion for your parents. And let me just say this, because people get hung up on this. If your parents were truly neglectful, if they were truly abusive, okay, this is not a call for you to reconcile. I give you permission to leave them alone. Like if your father and your mother abused you, neglected you, and whatever form of abuse, you don't need to reconcile. You don't need to, come together and have a kumbaya moment. I would want you to forgive them because you'll feel better. But even if you can't forgive them, okay, like I said, that's on you. But I would want you to, because it's going to make you feel better. I would want you to cancel that debt you think they owe you. Right? Just cancel it. And walk away. But you have to grieve. That's what we're not doing. We're not grieving the loss of, wow, I was molested by my father. Or my father wasn't around. Or my mother, her boyfriend touched me. Or she allowed her boyfriend to hit me or beat me. Or my mother was physically abusive. Or my mother was verbally abusive, right? We have to grieve that. Okay? We have to grieve it so we can let it go. We have to process it and say, man, I got gypped. I got the short end of the stick when it came to mothers, I got the short end of the stick when it came to fathers. We have to do that. And we're walking around like, no, I'm good. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Everybody can see it but you. It does matter. You not having a dad does matter. You not having a good mom does matter. But I hear that so often. People saying, well, I never knew my father. My father wasn't in my life. I'm good. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You're not the complete person you could have been with a good father in your life. And you have to own that. But you're also going to have to grieve the fact that, okay, I didn't have a good father in my life. Okay, so reparenting is a must. I just posted a reel that another creator made about reparenting. And reparenting is a must. That is the work, if I'm being honest, that every single parent, every single person, whether you're a parent or not, every single person must do. Because a lot of people are deeply, deeply wounded from the abuse of their past, from the neglect of their past, just not having good attachment figures in their life. And what's even scarier is more and more people are becoming securely attached. What was once 50-50, 50% people were secure, 50% of people were insecure. That number is rising to 70%. I would estimate 70% of adults are insecurely attached. That number is rising. So we have to do something. And right now, we have an epidemic of parents who they think parenting stops at 9. They think parenting stops at 9 years old, 10 years old. They think that as long as they can leave their kids at home alone, they're done parenting. It's crazy. They think at 10, 11, oh, I'm done. I can leave this kid at home. They're not going to drink bleach underneath the sink. They're not going to, start a fire or something or whatever, right? They think that their parenting job is over. So it's bad out here. It is really, really bad. There is a lack of discipline. There's a lack of guidance. There's a lack of emotional attunement for our children. Our kids are in bad shape. And it's funny because I had a client ask me last week if I was 25. Like if I was 25 right now and I was looking to get married and have children, like would I still have children? I was like, man, that's a loaded question. Because it's rough. It's rough out here raising kids today. I feel so blessed that my kids are the age they are, that I got to do it when I did. I feel blessed that I got to experience real love. Like there are people out here right now that may never ever experience true love. That's heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking to me that you're never ever going to experience true love from another person. Like you're never going to see that love in their eyes. You're never going to see, that warmth, that care, right? And you're never going to see that thick and thin love. You're never going to see that. You're never going to feel that romantic love. There's some people out here who will never, ever receive flowers. They'll never, ever have someone plan a birthday party for them. They'll never ever be taken on a trip for their birthday and get the, flowers and candles in the room. like that makes me really sad. And I just, like I said, and that's why I'm telling you all, and hear me well, I'm at an age where I can say, you know what, I'm good, right? People think that that's a cope. It isn't. It isn't, because I have known love. I have known love for more than one man. Like, I have known true love. I have been married. I have had children. Those children are grown. That's not a cope. That's just what it is. That's reality. That I've lived a great life. I've lived a great life. I've been able to do so many things I never thought I would do. So that's not a cope coming from me. It is coming from a 20-something-year-old or a 30-year-old, but not from me, because I've had a good life. But it's just sad to me that there are women out there that'll never have a husband, or they'll never have biological children, or they'll never know true romantic love from a man. Like, that's just really sad to me. So, dating can be hard. I'm always telling y'all that. And right now, I wouldn't even say I'm open to dating. Like, I don't even know if I'm open to dating, because, y'all already know, I don't even believe in dating. I believe in, courting someone for marriage. So I probably am not open to dating. But for those of you who are, like, I recognize that it's difficult. And for so many reasons. I'm not even going to put blame on anybody. It's so many reasons why dating and relationships is difficult right now. But the truth of the matter is, I feel really blessed. I feel very lucky that I got to experience all of the magic. I got to experience the 90s black love magic. I got to experience all of that. All of that. Okay? All of the magic of black love. I got to experience it. So if I don't get it again, okay, I have my memories. I have my wonderful life. I have my kids. I have my friends. I have my family. I have so much. So much of my life is wonderful. So yeah, I'm good. But reparenting, we have to do this. It is a process. If you would like help with this process, it is something that I do, and there are other therapists and other coaches that do it. But all you have to do is click the link in my bio on Instagram, or go to the link in the description box below on YouTube and set up a consultation. So you're going to set up a 15-minute consultation. We'll talk, and then we'll talk about setting up an appointment for coaching. Remember, unless you're in the state of Virginia, that's the only time I can work with you as a counselor, because that's actually where I'm licensed. So I can only practice in the state I'm licensed. I am actually in the process of getting licensed in North Carolina, Georgia, and I'm also considering Florida. So I'll keep y'all updated about that. Yes, Evolving Lulu 74. I am in a U-Haul van because I'm actually headed to Charlottesville to move my daughter out of her apartment. So I'm in the process of driving to Charlottesville. So, but I just wanted to jump on. I just wanted to talk about that briefly. And one of the things we are going to talk about, it's actually going to be next week's module in the private community. So in my private community over on Skool, we are going to talk about reparenting. We're going to talk about that. And we've touched on it, I want to say in week 5 or week 6. We did touch on reparenting, but I'm now going to do an entire module on reparenting. So if you would like to join us and learn about reparenting, I want you to send me an email at info@betterlovemovement.com, and I will give you a free 30-day trial of Skool. So that is my private community, and you can go through all the modules. You can definitely join us for the reparenting module. That's a wonderful way for you to learn about reparenting. So she said, how long is the drive? It's about 55 minutes. It's not. All right, I'm headed. I'm about to get off on my exit shortly. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. It is it's very overcast here. I don't know if it's going to rain or not. But y'all, here in Virginia, we have been having some wild weather. And you know what? I don't need to be complaining because there are other states where they have been experiencing the flooding. And I just pray, when I heard about this flooding, I just prayed for people there. I just pray. I don't know what's going on, but Mother Nature is mad. It's something we ain't doing right because Mother Nature has been whipping our tail. We just, I don't know what's going on, but the flooding, the storms, every other day we have a horrible storm here. And I'm just grateful that we haven't experienced any of the dangerous flooding that some of the other states have had. But Mother Nature is not happy. And I predict, this is what I told my neighbor yesterday, I predict that the seasons are going to start getting shorter. So summer is going to get shorter. Right now, the way it feels today, it normally feels like this the last week of August. So think about that. It's the third week in July, and it feels like the last week in August. So summer is being cut short. And I don't know if fall is going to be longer or winter. I don't know what's going to happen, but the seasons are going to start being cut short. I even notice it in my garden. So my vegetables, my gardening, it tells me what's going on with the earth. This is what I love about gardening. It tells me what's going on with the earth and in nature. And so the fact that the leaves are already starting to die off on most of my plants, and it's July. It's the third week of July, and my tomato plants are dying. They're yeah, we're good. We're done. We're done. We're done producing for the season. They're not, and I've tried everything. I'm what is happening? But my tomato plants are done. They're done producing. They're not producing any more flowers. They're not producing any more fruit. They're done. The cucumbers died. Things are dying, and it's the third week in July. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Why does it feel like August? I don't know. I think summer is just being cut short. She said summers have been shorter in New York City for a few years. Yeah, I think that Mother Nature, and I mean, I could talk about global warming and all that foolishness, but I don't know. I just know Mother Nature is pissed. And she's yeah, y'all messing up the ozone or whatever. I don't know. It's crazy. But, yeah, something's coming. I keep telling people this. Something is coming. We think life is crazy now. It's only going to get crazier. Something is coming. I wish that wasn't the case. I'm not wishing anything bad, but it's an intuition. It's a feeling that I have. So just be mindful. Make sure you right with the Lord. That's all I can say. I keep telling people that. Just make sure you right with God. That's it. That's it. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. As long as I'm good with God, I can pretty much deal with anything. So have a great rest of the day. Enjoy this day. Be glad that you got to get up and do it again. I have a sign on the back of my bedroom door that says, you get another shot. Welcome to the day. You get another shot. You get another chance to do better, to do it all over, do better. So that's what I want y'all to do. All right. Have a great one. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate y'all keeping me company. And as always, stay